In Hollywood, a little bit of self-confidence goes a long way, but there is such a thing as being too conceited. While plenty of celebrities manage to stay humble, some of them let the fame go to their heads and end up becoming insanely entitled, which is exactly what happened to everyone on this list. So in this video, we're counting down the top 10 arrogant celebrities that need to be humbled. Number 10, Miley Cyrus. Back in 2009, the singer went into a chain restaurant in New York City looking for a burger. After she ordered, the clerk asked for her name so he could call it out when the burger was ready, to which Miley allegedly became frustrated and said, "Are you serious? You don't recognize me? I am Miley Cyrus." While we're not exactly sure what kind of reaction she wanted from him, she was obviously upset that the clerk didn't fall to his knees or jump for joy. Being a celebrity obviously has its perks, so when famous people get treated like everyone else, they usually don't like it. But Miley has actually been called out for her behavior in public before. At the world premiere of Avengers Endgame in April of 2021, there was a viral video that went around which showed her physically pushing Liam Hemsworth away. While she was on the red carpet, he was getting annoyed at her for trying to get a funny picture licking his face. He then becomes frustrated and says, "Can't you just behave for once?" In response, she pushes him aside and poses for pictures all on her own. At the time, she was heavily criticized for embarrassing Liam at the premiere for his older brother's movie. Number 9, Gwyneth Paltrow. She's definitely one of the first celebrities that comes to mind when you think of the word arrogant. Even before she tried to become a lifestyle guru, she made it clear a long time ago just how out of touch she is with regular people. Gwyneth once made an entire population of working mothers angry when she said, "It's much harder for me. I think to have a regular job and to be a mom is not as, of course there are challenges, but it's not like being on set." Not only that, but in 2009 she was quoted saying, "I am who I am. I can't pretend to be someone who makes $25,000 a year." And let's not forget all the drama with the Goop Lab, which is just another way for Gwyneth to push her so-called healthy lifestyle onto regular people, where she posts must-have outfits that cost hundreds if not thousands of dollars and tries to frame it as a necessity. Her website was also heavily criticized for promoting questionable things like sprays and crystals that are meant to prevent mental manipulation by people, not to mention potentially dangerous supplements that were marketed to pregnant women. So it's no surprise that she actually earned the top spot in Star's 2013's Most Hated Celebrity list. Number 8, Justin Bieber. As the singer's fame grew, so did his attitude and his sense of entitlement. The once teenage heartthrob shocked the internet in 2013 while he was in Amsterdam visiting the hiding place of Anne Frank, which has since been turned into a museum. Justin opened himself up to ridicule and online anger when he wrote in the Anne Frank house guest book that it was truly inspiring to be able to come here and that Anne was a great girl. But he also said that he hoped she would have been a believer. The comments were insensitive at best, and it sounded like he believed Anne Frank would have been his devoted fan had she not died as a teenager in a concentration camp. Not only that, but he's also thought himself above the law on several occasions and is known for his atrocious behavior in public. Justin's been in trouble with the cops for things like graffiti spraying, egg throwing, and causing disturbances to his neighbors. Not only that, but in a 2013 Billboard interview, he said, "Don't say I'm not talented. If you haven't noticed, I wasn't made, I was found." Number 7, Adam Levine. Back in a 2014 interview with GQ magazine, the singer addressed his reputation as a bit of an egomaniac. He said, "I'm not arrogant, I'm cocky. It's different. Cocky is playful." But if you want to know what's really obnoxious, let's take a look at his tone-deaf comments about infidelity in 2009, when he said, "I have cheated, and you know what? There is nothing worse than the feeling of doing it." So apparently it's not hard for the people that are getting cheated on, only for the people that are cheating. And knowing what we know now, that quote hasn't aged well at all. Then in 2021, a TikTok went viral of him going off on a fan for coming on stage. The incident happened during a Maroon 5 performance while Adam was belting out their 2004 hit Sunday Morning. It was then that an overly eager fan suddenly rushed to the stage and reached for him. The video shows that security quickly grabbed the woman and pulled her away from Adam, who was seen cursing, shuddering, and shaking off the experience before getting right back into the music. Many fans were offended by his visceral reaction and suggested that he should really humble himself and remember that Maroon 5 is only successful because of the fans. Number 6, Vanessa Hudgens. The High School Musical star made some pretty controversial comments, complaining about having to quarantine during the start of the pandemic. During an Instagram live, Vanessa shocked her fans with her lack of compassion when she said, "Yeah, till July sounds like a bunch of BS. I'm sorry. It's a virus, I get it, I respect it, but at the same time, even if everybody gets it, yeah, people are gonna die, which is terrible, but like inevitable." Saying this in a seemingly smug way created a massive backlash, considering many people in her age group weren't listening to health officials at the time. Not only that, but she seemed very nonchalant about the fact that a lot of people were going to be affected. Naturally, her tone-deaf comments got her slammed across social media, with Olivia Wilde tweeting, "In 1,000 years they'll dig up our society and find this precious digital moment and be like, okay, this is why they mysteriously disappeared from the earth." Vanessa of course tried to apologize and play the whole thing off as a misunderstanding, but it will forever go down as one of her most ignorant moments. Number 5. Catherine Zeta-Jones. Most people wouldn't think of the actress as arrogant, but her history says otherwise. Back in 1998, while attending a special screening of The Mask of Zorro, an 8-year-old girl reportedly went up to Catherine and asked her for some advice on acting. Catherine allegedly looked her up and down and said, "You're pretty enough, I suppose," before turning back to her conversation. In 2003, she was quoted saying, "$1 million isn't a lot of money for people like us." She said, "Some people collect art or lots of money. We collect houses, because if we have to look at something, we prefer the view." She went on to say, "The worst thing about having all these houses is that when I have an outfit and I think it's going to look great with a certain pair of shoes, I remember that they're in some place that I'm not, so that's why I have to buy duplicates." Then fast forward to 2018 during an interview with the UK Mirror, when she said, "I'm sick of being humble, I really am. So sorry I'm rich, so sorry I'm married to a movie star, so sorry I'm not so bad looking." So with a track record of saying things like that, it's no surprise that she ends up on this list. Number 4. Liam Payne. The 29-year-old went on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast and became the butt of every joke on the internet for weeks. Not only did Liam come off as entitled, but fans were shocked when he claimed that his 2017 debut solo track, Strip That Down, outperformed everyone else in the band. He said, "First song, 1 billion streams. I think it outsold everybody within the band, and I was the last to go solo, and I never expected that." In fact, the whole interview came off as a bit of a humble brag. He also claimed that Simon Cowell created the boy band around him and said, "He started with my face and then worked around the rest. I was the honorary member of One Direction." He told me that story himself at his house. But fans totally lost it when he said, "I think it was well known within the band that I don't like taking crap. At a certain point I made it very obvious. There was one moment when there was an argument backstage and one member in particular threw me up a wall. So I said to him, if you don't remove those hands, there's a high likelihood you'll never use them again." Liam was obviously trying to build a tough guy persona, but his comments just came off as ridiculous. Number 3. Miles Teller. While being interviewed for Esquire in 2015, the actor was quoted saying, "I probably think I'm better looking than the public thinks I am. Maybe it's because I came from a small town, but I always did well for myself." Miles also had no issue insulting John Cusack by saying, "I guess we look alike. We did some similar movies. He wasn't traditionally good looking, he was offbeat, quirky, but confident. I get it, but I don't want his career." That last comment seemed a little bit unnecessary, but okay. Not only that, but Miles tried to distance himself from his fellow actors when he said, "I feel like a lot of actors in my generation are not proper actors. I want to break out of that whole group of actors in their early 20s and really start to put stuff down that lets you know I take this seriously." It's only been a few years since he landed his first major role. The actor has already developed something of reputation in the industry. In fact, he admitted to only taking his role in the movie Divergent for business reasons and said that the blockbuster film left him feeling dead inside. Number 2. Jay-Z. The rapper's arrogance was at an all-time high in 2013 when he was heavily criticized by social activist Harry Belafonte for what he said was a lack of social responsibility, basically saying he wasn't doing enough for the community. Jay-Z then responded in the worst way possible. He said, "I'm offended by that because first of all, and this is gonna sound arrogant, but my presence is charity, just who I am, just like Obama's is." He went on to say that Obama provides hope whether he does anything. The hope that he provides for a nation and outside of America is enough. So basically saying that he's doing the same thing just by being famous. Not only that, but in 2012, Jay-Z dissed Robert De Niro, who was apparently a big fan of his music. The actor reportedly called Jay-Z 6 times to work with him and received a grand total of 0 calls back. De Niro then verbally confronted Jay-Z about the situation and said, "It doesn't matter who you are. If someone calls you 6 times, you call them back. That is just rude." And coming in at number 1, Lea Michele. The actress starred as Rachel Berry on the hit TV series Glee from 2009 to 2015, but it was only after the show ended that her real on-set behavior was exposed. The controversial new documentary The Price of Glee features some bombshell revelations about Lea. Recently, the assistant to the executive director Garrett Greer described her as a narcissist and claimed that there was conflict whenever she felt her character wasn't getting enough attention. Damian Snell, a fellow Glee actor, also came out with his own horror story. He claimed that Lea Lea Michele banned him from sitting with the main cast during their lunch break because apparently she didn't think that he belonged. He said, "I was there maybe 10 minutes and then I got pulled by someone on set." This person allegedly told him that someone specifically at the table didn't want him sitting there because they didn't feel like he belongs with the rest of the group. Davia asked the crew member if Lea was the culprit, and he says that they made a wincing face and then nodded. He went on to say, like, "Wow, I really just got pulled because of my status on the show. I never really experienced anything like that, even in a high school setting." Well, that's everyone that we have on the list. Please let me know if we missed anyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video.